Böyle başlıyorum.
Okay, başlayalım. We start? Okay, let's begin. Hello everyone. Again, very glad to see all of you here on this wonderful day. And today we're having our last, but not least, the webinar about how to improve your IELTS speaking tips. And I'm your host today. I'll be giving you basic information about the overall speaking part of the exam, as well as I'll be teaching you how to manage your timing effectively so that you can improve your IELTS listening. I'm sorry, speaking part. I've prepared a couple of notes, but this time around we're gonna have a little bit of different presentation or webinar for those who are watching us. And we'd like to first of all pay attention to the key factors on what determines the IELTS speaking 7 band score. So as the description says, as far as I remember, it talks about users being very careful or effective in terms of grammar and vocabulary and the fluency as well. Not to mention the fact that it's also important to speak naturally, not something that you come up with in your mind, but it's about giving a natural speech with a level of fluency. I would like to start with some personality tips, how to prepare yourself for the speaking 7 band. Alright, I prepared some notes over here. And if you are watching us on YouTube, I'll be writing down the notes as well. I'm sharing my screen on the laptop, and those who are able to watch, you're welcome. And after the webinar, I'll be sharing my notes with the students so that they'll be able to watch this content freely on our platform, on our Instagram channel. All right, I would like to start with the personality, right? I'm gonna write personality here. So English speakers, as you may have heard from most of the teachers and those who are very good at let's say developing language skills, have built their personality in English. What it means is that in order to be able to understand a language or understand its culture, the key factor lies on how to be in that language. What it means is that if you are born in the United States or any other English-speaking country, you naturally adopt the environment, right? You understand the language or you feel the language. When you are learning a language, another language, for example, like us, to you and me, most of us in Central Asia and in Uzbekistan, we haven't been, let's say, speaking English since the day we were born, right? There's a big difference. First, we adopt our native language and then adopt another language, which may be Russian in the scenario. And we feel that there is a need to learn the language, which is English. That's why we're trying to understand the language or learn the language, which is very hard for us. And then building a personality helps you to, let's say, come up with an idea very effectively, or when your personality feels the comfort in this environment, you're naturally going to speak up without any hesitation. So grammar, vocabulary shouldn't be a very big problem. So if you're watching me, or if you're watching me on the YouTube, please try to take a note on what I'm delivering to you, because this is going to be very efficient. I also ask you to be very engaging or participate in this webinar. If you have any questions, please write down in the comment section. I have a phone here, and I'll be reading the questions out loud and try to answer. All right, next one is, let's talk about life experience. I have heard most of the students who struggle to speak in the IELTS exam or generally in English is that they don't have life experience, which is quite sad. But if you think about it, if you have a good life experience or if you have done many things in your life, speaking in the IELTS exam can be quite easy, right? And I would like to bring an example from my own experience. I didn't know what to speak when I was asked in the exam about the very best present I have ever received. To be quite frankly with you, I didn't have any the best present. I just had small presents. I didn't consider that as best present because it's my life and this is the way I was, right? I didn't know what to speak. So in order to avoid such kind of scenarios, we need to have life experience. It doesn't mean you need to have a best present in your life or something that is closer to it or an alternative of it. I would like to give you several strategies how you can manage such kind of situation or how you can overcome this specific. One thing is in terms of the speaking part, and this is very important for you. So I had a practice with my students recently about how to. I had a practice with my students recently about how to lie in the exam, and quite frankly, it was very funny. And when you lie, you have more energy to speak. It completely breaks down the barriers between you and the examiner, or you can be more, how to say, talk about, then go ahead to talk about. But what if not? Right? What if not? What are you going to do here? So in this part of this, to come up with to protect yourself. You have spent so much time and so much money on learning a language. What can hold you not to lie to the examiner? Not to lie to the examiner. Anyways, you're gonna forget him after 50 minutes, right? So I asked them to come up with an idea. I gave them a task. There were 15 students. So you are working at SpaceX with Elon Musk. You know, everyone knows Elon Musk, a genius guy who owns Tesla and other companies. And I told another one, you work for Amazon. And other one would be an astronaut and some musician, artist, designer. It's completely against or different than their own desires or their interests, right? But ask them to be creative. Give as much as detail as possible about the work you do, how you do it, and etc. The result was quite interesting, and they were like more motivated. I felt the energy in the class, which was pretty amazing. They were talking like a bird. I couldn't even stop them sometimes. They were just getting the notion or getting the idea, becoming very perspective about their job. I don't know if I have impacted them to be the person that they have never heard of. But the result was quite astonishing. I was surprised that one student was telling me how she's a doctor and saves lives while she's just a student and preparing for IELTS. So to lie in the IELTS exam is recommended if you don't have anything to say, especially in part 1 and part 2. And it's going to save you, let's say, quite a bit of time and energy. Nice. So I would like to jump on the next part of the webinar, which is using lexical resources. Right? Everyone knows lexical resources are vocabulary, grammar, and let's say pronunciation. Two factors: vocabulary and grammar. Grammar is very important in the IELTS exam, and examiner will be carefully listening to your grammar errors. And bear in mind, just remember that your audio will be recorded in the room. There will be a voice recorder device that's going to record your voice. In reality, not only the IELTS examiner himself or herself going to listen to your audio, but there will be two more, if not three people going to re-listen and re-evaluate your score. I mean your quality of your speech. And that's very important because every time when you are giving a speech, it's very important for them to give you correct, let's say, ranking, correct evaluation. Therefore, be careful when you're speaking. If examiner doesn't catch your grammar mistake, someone else will do. That's why it's crucial to be very accurate with your grammar. Now you may ask, what is the, let's say, a tool, or what is a strategy for me to be good at IELTS speaking, or how can I improve my grammar in speaking? Well, the answer is very clear. You have to just learn a grammar by heart and try to use the examples as many as possible. I told one single grammar 10 times, giving them, let's say, okay, this is a modal verb, must. Make 10 sentences with must. And I asked them not to just make I must go home, I must study hard, etc., etc. But I asked them to make very long sentence so that it includes a lot of good vocabulary and other complex sentences, which is clearly going to give you a 7-band score at least. And the second point for the grammar, I would like to introduce you a grammar called inversions. If you're watching me on YouTube, then you may be able to see it. If not, don't worry. Inversions are the grammar that is very complex to explain, complicated to explain, for me as well, but it's very common in English. If you are comfortable using inversions, then that means you have very good level of English. As far as explain to someone else, that's a very big plus for you. Shout out. What is inversion? Inversion is a shortened format of the grammar. It also includes some key factors of the grammar that sounds more complicated. Usually inversions are followed by conditionals. We know conditionals, right? Zero conditional first, second, third conditional, and after that there is mixed conditional. Inversions can be used in the first, second, and third. I'm not going to give you the full description of inversions, but I would like to mention one of them is the conditional first, right? So let's take an example. If you're watching me on YouTube, I'm going to write an example. Let's take an example with first condition. As I say, let's say if you have any questions, do not hesitate to, let's say, do not hesitate emailing me. So what it means, if you have any questions, do not hesitate emailing me. So if you have any, let's say, any questions, please ask me, and without thinking of, I should not do it. So this is a 6+, right? This is a quite intermediate level of sentence, but what about in 7+? So inversion can help you. Inversion here, we're going to convert the word if to should. Yes, you heard it right. Should, you may ask, it's a common modal verb, but I recommend you to use this book. I'm gonna take a note, write it down. Destination C1, oopsie, and C2. This is a book I highly recommend you to use it. All right, next one is phrasal verbs, right? All right, sorry for the camera. So everyone is familiar with a phrasal verb. Those who are preparing for IELTS must have an understanding of how to use phrasal verbs and at least how to differentiate them from regular verbs or how to differentiate them from idioms, which is going to be our next topic. So, are actually very common in English. It's very important to use them in everyday or every part of your IELTS speaking. It's going to give the audience or the listener a good impression how naturally you're using the language itself to explain your thoughts. And it is very imperative for you to let's say, use phrasal verbs, not just like beginner level. You try to use, there are also very complex phrasal verbs to use it. And one of the common example that the phrasal verbs can be used, let's say, come up with, right? Come up with, it means to create something. You can say come up with an idea. It means have an idea, right? This is one way to say that. There is also a way that you can replace I understood to, for example, I picked up what you, let's say, put down, or I pick up on what you have said. Yes, there are two versions you can say that. I picked up what you have, what you put down. It means it's quite idiomatic expression, but trust me, this is a phrasal verb. I picked up, right? So pick up is this is a verb, right? We use it. So you can also use pick up to, let's say, to understand someone. You pick the knowledge up and put it in your brain. That's the kind of notion that may be useful for you to watch them. And also, I pick up on what you have said. It's also the same way as saying I understood you. Okay, nice. Before we move on, I would like to read the questions if we have any, and probably answer them very quickly. If you have any questions, please do write in the comment section. It is okay. So someone DR mentioned, what about life? I'm not sure what it means by that. I think he perhaps talked about life experiences. Well, if you don't have life experience, I guess I told them to lie. Everyone who wants to improve his English skills. Yes, you can pretty much find as anyone who wants to improve his skills here. Thank you, Cameron, for making us proud. All right, let me quickly check the questions. All right, no questions so far. I would like you to be very engaged to the webinar, so that I would like to give more information as far as I can. All right, next one is our idiomatic expressions, right? It's idioms. Some people annoyingly or surprisingly say it is idiom. Please don't do that. It's not good. Okay, don't do that. Idioms are the expressions. If you have not heard in your life before, idioms are the sentences or like phrases or two words coming together to express one situation, or they may not be the same meaning as it is before, but it is more of something. Yes, I think it was very hard to understand, but I try to give you more example. Okay, let's understand. Let's take a look at this verb, the idiom. Dark horse. Yes, dark horse. Dark horse is like translated as the black horse, the animal. And dark horse in the scenario means a very secretive person, or a very close person, that's someone who doesn't want to talk to anyone, right? If I am a dark horse scientist, so I'm not a rocket scientist, it means that you're not smart enough to understand these things, right? Or you're basically saying, I don't know about it, I don't know what you're saying, or my knowledge isn't enough to understand this thing. This is the way you say it in English. I'm not a rocket scientist. Or you can say that I'm a rocket scientist about this thing, but generally it is more common in English to use it in a negative format. When you don't understand something, when you cannot express the way that other person may be asking, you just say, I'm not a rocket scientist. I don't understand that. The last idiomatic expressions for you for this webinar is just, I'm basically trying to give you examples on how to use them, or giving you a sense of motivation so that you can improve your speaking through these things. All right. So last one is a cup of tea. Yes, cup of tea is like cup and there's tea in it, right? Just imagine how you like that tea in a cold winter temperature. Right, days you are frozen to death outside, and then you come home and drink very hot tea. You're gonna like it, right? Based on the scenario I've just told you, cup of tea means something you really like, right? It's something that interests you, especially that's maybe close to your heart or something. Or I can say, playing computer games is my cup of tea. Yeah, because I like it. Or listening to rock music is my cup of tea. Coming to Forward is my cup of tea. Or studying in a very professional class, or attending this webinar is my cup of tea. Yes, you can use this weight as well. Okay, please ask questions on our chat box. I will try to respond it. If you have any questions in terms of speaking part of the exam, or any tips you want to hear from me, I'll be very flattered to answer your question. Okay, on the next one we have we finished about phrases, examples. So okay, I would like to talk about now, let's say, some couple strategies, right? Couple tips how you can again make your IELTS speaking skill above 7. Is that Cool phrases. Yes, cool phrases, or I can say sentences, right? I'll give you details in a minute. Okay, cool phrases and sentences. In my journey of learning the language or learning English, I almost always try to copy the person or copy the character from the movie, from the TV show, or from someone in real life. I was very attentive of what they were saying. I always had a note. I would have a notebook with me, where I could easily write new things down. Whenever I watch an interview on the news channel, or I watch a movie, funny comedy or TV show, I when I heard a cool word or cool phrase or sentence, right, I would immediately write them down because to me it sounds like a music. It sounds like it does something close to my heart. I knew that I would be able to use it to my friends, to my teacher, to my, let's say, to my favorite people. Yes, just to practice this. And trust me, this thing actually helped me to become interested in the language. That kept me motivating to look for more and more words and more vocabulary and more resources that I could find them whenever I could. So strategy in this thing is very important. I still remember this sentence that I've learned from the movie. I think it was a Big Man Theory. If any of you watched that, please let me know on the comment section. So it was like this. If I could, I would, but I can't, so I shan't. Yes, if I could, I would, but I can't, so I shan't. So this phrase was like from the Big Man Theory, and the person who spoke this word actually making a sarcastic joke on his friends. So meaning that he wanted to do that, but he didn't do this, so he can't do it. That's why he will not do it ever. That's the kind of meaning. And every time when my friends asked me to help with their homework, I basically repeat the same thing. If I could, I would, but I can't, so I shan't. So yeah, shut up. That's what I used to say to my friends. And on to the next thing is that this is one way you can try that, and also do use them in your speaking, because this is the kind of brick. And if your IELTS speaking is like a wall, that will be part of the brick, part of the wall with today. Also, books. Let's talk about books. Reading books and finding the cool phrases from book is also possible, but I would like to mention two best books that you can find online and try their strategies how to build your IELTS masterclass and things. One of the best books I can recommend reading is that IELTS Speaking by Matt Clark. Is a Chinese IELTS examiner who has been working in the IELTS for, let's say, quite a long time. When I was preparing for IELTS, I used his book, and it was quite interesting because in there I could find, let's say, 4 or 5 things. I'll try to explain. First, the vocabulary. The person who wrote the book is quite interesting, and he mentioned about how to come up with an idea to a specific topic, what you can speak, what not to speak, idiomatic expressions, topic vocabulary, grammar expressions, and the sample answer, like the formula to every question, right? You basically need to change your name or the experience you have, or the name of the place or name of the person. The whole speech was ready. Yes, it may be complicated to learn, but why not, right? If you have a exact type of speech or what you can do in the exam, so why not? I will write them down. Matt Clark. Okay, I think I misspelled that. Okay, don't worry. If you cannot watch me on the YouTube, I will share my notes on the Instagram, and there will be beautiful posts about it. And next one is collocations. Oh my God, I love this. I love talking about collocations. Collocations are, group of words that come together that have specific meaning, or they're the rule for the vocabulary, how to use them and when to use them. For example, we cannot just say yellow hair, right? Yellow hair is weird. There's no one says yellow hair. We say blonde hair, right? This is a very beginner level of explanation of the collocations. But yellow hair doesn't make sense. It's not natural. It's not normal English. It can be Uzbek English or Russian English, but it's not English. So therefore, do not say this word. Collocations usually come with, they have word agreements, and this is the way how words are easily formed in a way that it is in the English language. I'm sorry. Okay, I think we have finished with all the important factor about how you can prepare your IELTS speaking or how you can improve it. I would like to bring up some of the coolest practice ways for you to practice not your IELTS speaking skills, but your overall general English, so that once you have the confidence and the fluency, perhaps like I am, you'll be able to, let's say, ace the IELTS with no problem. So I have a couple situation. For example, is first of all is to debate. Yeah, debating is very important in I think everyone's life. It helps you to think critically, improve your speaking skills, public speaking skills. But if you do it in English, you'll be able to practice your language, vocabulary, your speech skills. If that's a thing to say. Yes, back in my let's say experience of learning a language, I was very eager and very passionate about debating. Therefore, my curiosity grew, and even at the university that I have graduated, I was a top member of the debate team where we could participate in the competitions. After thus, we have gained a lot of experience, not only just English language, but we were able to meet a lot of people. And the next thing is I would like to mention is marathon, how you can improve your speaking. Marathon is a type of sport. One person runs across the field and passes the stick, and another one runs. So it's not about it, but it's about speaking marathon. This is the thing I usually tell my students to practice, because this is the method I practice myself a few years back and before I take the IELTS exam. And the marathon is like a person will speak about any random topic for a minute, and then after everyone finishes with 1 minute, the person who started first going to increase its time limit for 2 minutes. So 2 minutes, if I give you talk about smartphone, you have to talk about for 2 minutes. If you don't talk about for 2 minutes, you lose the game. You have to do it again and again until you make 2 minutes. And then it goes on, and start 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. My maximum, let's say, time limits with my friends were like 10 minutes. And it took us more than 3 hours, and it was quite interesting because we get exhausted once we were running out of ideas. We had to force our brain to come up with something. And what helped us is our notebook, where we had a dictionary of translation of each word, and that was very helpful for us. And the last thing I would like to tell you is that listen to live discussions about people. Have you heard about Clubhouse? Yes, it's a social media for people to discuss their ideas on the internet, and it gained quite a lot of big popularity about how you can, let's say, discuss something with people, and it was very helpful for most of the people to listen to some people, some companies, some or discussions in different languages. Probably we'll make one special content for how to use Clubhouse to improve your listening and speaking, because in the Clubhouse, by definition, by name, it suggests that you can participate in the club sessions. If somebody organizes the club, if you are able to speak English language, or you can have some questions, you can ask them on without showing your face, and then someone will answer to it. You have basically gonna have a discussion with a group of people. I think this is the kind of advancement of the technology where you can express yourself, your opinion online without revealing your identity. Cool, right? All right, and last but not least, I would like to summarize everything that has been mentioned in this webinar. I would like to thank for those who participated and so who have been, let's say, asking questions, but unfortunately nobody asked questions. But anyways, um, I would like to summarize it. First of all, build a personality and have life experience to have more ideas in speaking. Also, yes, my favorite one is lie in the exam. To lie, give false information. If you don't have anything to say, just make it up, create it, and then deliver it immediately. And in terms of grammar, inversions, yes, we will give you more details. Phrasal verbs, idiomatic expressions, cool phrases from the movies or sentences, books and collocations, and lastly, practice marathon, debating, and use social media called Clubhouse. So this is the end of our webinar. If you have any questions, please, I would like you to ask me right now. I'm giving it a last chance. Any personal question or anything, etc. By the way, if you have a personal question to me in terms of how I have practiced or what is the tip you want to hear from me, you can directly DM me or private message me on the Instagram. I will leave you my account on the next story. After this, you'll be able to ask me questions personally. I'll be really glad to answer your questions, and hopefully somebody will benefit from the knowledge I'm sharing. Okay, I think this is it. Thank you for everyone for following us till now. I'm very glad and very, let's say, flattered that we have such a big audience who had been watching us, and this has been quite a big journey. Thank you.